Welcome back, everyone, to the HNL Movement podcast. I'm excited for this episode. As you know, it's been National Athletic Training Month, so I've been trying to do topics according to that. And we have our current HATA president, which is the Hawaii Athletic Trainers Association here in Hawaii. And we have none other than Reid Takano. He's also the athletic trainer at Kamehameha Schools. But it's so great to connect, and welcome to the podcast.
Awesome, bro. Thanks for having me.
Yes, there's going to be a lot of things that we're going to talk about, and we're just talking a little bit before we started recording. I like talking to all the athletic trainers because for me, I feel like I'm still in the beginning of my career, so I don't even know all of the struggles when, we're trying to get athletic trainers into all of the DOE schools. Hawaii is one of those schools, or one of the states that has, if not one, most schools have two athletic trainers. Yeah. In the public schools, private schools have athletic trainers as well, so it's a unique state that there's a lot of coverage statewide. But before we get into all of that, real briefly, we won't go too in depth because we want to talk about athletic training and all of that. But talk about, when you were growing up, sports and all of that, how did that help your interest in pursuing athletic training?
Yeah, in all honesty, I grew up in Kaneohe. I played soccer, and that was pretty much the extent of it. I grew up playing soccer. I'm a graduate of Kamehameha. I got in sixth grade. So I played soccer my seventh grade year. Okay. And then once I hit high school, I started paddling. I knew we had the facilities then, but because paddling is an off-campus sport, I never really used the athletic training room. So my story is really not a sustained an injury, and now I'm and because of that, spent all that time in the athletic training room. Now I wanted to pursue a career in that. It was something I kind of stumbled upon. Sports, I enjoyed watching sports. I was not a great athlete, obviously, but. Having watched sports for a while, it just it was something I wanted to do. My passion as far as how I became an athletic trainer was more because of teachers. It was something I kind of stumbled upon. My initial aspiration in high school was to be a math teacher.
Got it.
Yeah, and at Kamehameha we had relationships with teachers, just their interactions and stuff, and they just have such profound impacts on a lot of kids that. They wanted to become teachers as well. Yeah. So my junior year, I had a math teacher, Miss Milan, who had that impact on me, and that's kind of what I thought I wanted to do. So I attended UH, looked into went the educational curriculum route, looked into some math classes, and as I took some of the more advanced classes, the classes were taught by TAs, and the more advanced and the more complicated the classes got, it seemed like the less English the TA spoke. It was like a lot of them where English wasn't their first language. So I thought, okay, maybe this, I kind of lost interest real quick. I thought I still wanted to work with kids. So I thought maybe PE. Again, I wasn't an athlete, but I wasn't totally out of shape. I thought I could be a PE teacher, maybe not necessarily a coach, but kind of looked into the PE curriculum. I had a friend that was in the athletic training curriculum at the time. I contacted the curriculum director at UH. It was Dr. Buxton at the time, and I took his introductory course, Introduction to Athletic Training. It was a summer course. I aced that. Eventually got into the program, and
the rest is history.
Fast forward 25 years, I'm here on your podcast.
Yes. So that's interesting because all of us, growing up in Hawaii, there are sports that were always around, right? Even if you're not an athlete, right? There's still exposure to sports. So at Kamehameha, only paddling, or did you still play soccer like on the side or club or anything? No,
I kind of like seventh grade. That was kind of it for me. Yeah. And then I was more maybe a social butterfly. I kind of But then paddling was it had a lot of pluses too. You practice at the beach. We practiced at Alamana Beach Park, and it was your ocean. It was. I don't want to say it was a cool thing to do, but it was fun. We had some grueling races. ILH races were distance races, but it was still fun. So I stuck with that from my sophomore year. I got into it, and I
got it.
Yeah, I
did you even paddle like in college?
I wanted to, but because of the schedule of athletic training, it's just when clubs practice, that's when we're working. So I had a cousin who was paddling with a club, and he was trying to get me. I said I just don't have the time for it, but I'd love to. You know, maybe after retirement, that might be my bucket list thing. Try to do a Molokai Hoi or something. In a senior crew. I don't know.
Get into paddling again. Yeah. So that's so interesting, and I think for me too, there's always stuff that I can relate to with every guest, and I was kind of similar. You know, people have heard me in snippets that I didn't even know what athletic training was until I was 22, 23 years old. I was like, what is athletic training? And then that's the first exposure I walked into, you know. Well, actually, ironically, Dr. Stickley was the first athletic trainer I ever met besides Kevin Chang at Moanlo.
Okay.
But I never ever worked or, you know, went in the athletic training room. And Dr. Stickley's now obviously my advisor. But then the first time that I actually walked into athletic training room was the UH athletic training room. So similar to you, right? Getting in contact with the program director, taking these classes, and then you're automatically hooked. That's kind of the way that I fell into it too.